Last night, UFC 319 took place. Dricus du Plessis lost in the main event to Khamzat Chimaev. 5-round decision. I did not do the best on my picks. We're going to get into that, though. Aaron Pico also got knocked out in the co-main event. It was a pretty good card overall until we got the main event, which turned out to be pretty slow. But overall, it was a good card, and I'm going to give you my recap for the whole thing. Starting with the first fight, going all the way up to the main event. As I just said, Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis. So let me get right into it with the first fight of the night, which was Alibi Adiris versus Joseph Morales. This was the Ultimate Fighter finale. And Adiris was the favorite coming into this one. He was kind of being hyped up a bit. He had this knockout, flying knee in his last showing. And Joseph Morales, I didn't think he won his last fight on Contenders or the Ultimate Fighter, and a lot of people also didn't think that he won his last fight. But he came out and he looked really good against Alibi Adiris. On the feet, was making Adiris kind of look like a chump, and then in the grappling exchanges too, Adiris was just getting out grappled, and then second round comes along. You got DC yelling instructions to Adiris, trying to get him out of this triangle choke, and then Morales taps him out in the second round. It was actually a pretty sad performance for Adiris. Like, he had a lot of hype coming into this, and he did not show out at all. He looked terrible and got submitted in the second round by Joseph Morales. I mean, good win for Joseph Morales. This is now his second stint in the UFC, so hopefully he'll be able to stack together some more wins this time around. But I was not expecting this underdog to start the card. You know, I really wasn't. A lot of people were surprised about this too, but moving on, Carini Silva versus Dion Barbosa, a fight that in my prediction, I didn't even realize this was a rematch, man. So, yeah, that's on me. But Carini Silva was not doing good that first round. Dion Barbosa, oh my God, she looked good. She was outstriking Carini Silva in that first round, and then I don't know what the takedown was. It was like a judo trip. She just launches in to the back of Carini Silva and just trips her down to the mat. I don't know how she let that happen to her. But then second round comes along, Carini Silva, her striking, she's kind of throwing a bit more out, and then she gets a submission attempt from the bottom, which a lot of people were still giving Dion Barbosa the round, even though Carini Silva had the submission attempt and the good strikes in the second round. And then round 3 comes along, Dion Barbosa is on top of Carini Silva, I get it, but Carini Silva is attempting like 3 submissions in that round. That's a Carini Silva round. I mean, I was joking about it after the fight just because it was a kind of a funny situation, but some people were actually calling this a brutal robbery. Like, Dion Barbosa didn't do anything in that second round or third round. She kind of threw the fight away in my eyes, because she looked incredible in the first round and then was just complacent the rest of the fight. You gotta win rounds. It's not just about having the best moment of the fight, which she arguably did in that first round. It's about winning 2 rounds out of 3. And that's what Carini Silva did with the submission attempt. With I get it, she had top control on Carini Silva, but what was actually, like, Carini Silva was going for a triangle choke from bottom position. So Carini Silva won that fight by decision. We're moving on to Drakkar Klose versus Edson Barboza. I talked a lot of shit about Drakkar Klose. I didn't see this one coming, to be honest. I thought Edson Barboza was going to knock out Drakkar Klose, and Drakkar Klose was actually closer to knocking out Edson Barboza. In the second round, he landed a beautiful right hand against the fence and unloads against Edson Barboza, and I was shaking, man. I was absolutely shaking. I thought Edson Barboza was going to do really good, but even before, in the warm-ups, he looked off. Something about him looked off. His left eye was a little swollen. I get, like, he always has something going on with that eye, but it looked worse. It looked exasperated this time, and I really don't give Drakkar Klose much credit on the feet. So for him to look that good against Edson Barboza, this is a good win for him. This might be Edson Barboza's worst loss ever. I think this is his worst loss ever. So it's kind of sad. I don't know what he does from here. Edson might be done. He might retire. He didn't last night, but I don't know what Edson, I don't know where he goes from here. But yeah, kind of sad to see. I really thought Edson was going to get that done against Drakkar Close, but shows how much I know. And we move on to the first fight of the prelims. Chase Hooper versus Alexander Hernandez. I was taking a lot of L's tonight, or last night, man. I thought Chase Hooper was going to get a submission over Alexander Hernandez. It was actually one of my bets as well, Chase Hooper by submission. So, Chase Hooper came out in that first round, and he was testing his striking against Alexander Hernandez, which I understood the choice, you know. You don't want to just only be a one-trick pony. You don't want to just be shooting for takedowns immediately like Khamzat. You want to test your striking and kind of improve it in a fight, you know? That's a practical way to test your striking. Chase Hooper's looking pretty good on the feet too, like not looking terrible against Alexander Hernandez. He was doing pretty good. Final 10 seconds of the round, Chase Hooper kind of rushes in a bit too much and eats a 1-2 perfectly timed by Alexander Hernandez on the chin, man, right on the button, drops Chase Hooper and finishes him off with ground and pound. Chase Hooper didn't even try to implement his grappling. That was going to be a round 2 move, I'm pretty sure. Chase Hooper was doing good in this fight, man, it's so annoying. He was actually doing really good in this fight. And I'm sure in that second round he was about to start implementing his takedowns. I think he was just trying to test out his striking a bit in the first. But he looked not bad until he got clipped and put out. So it's unfortunate. Good win for Alexander Hernandez, I guess. He hasn't got a win like this in a while. It's unfortunate, though. I really thought Chase Hooper was going to be implementing his grappling against Alexander Hernandez. But I don't think we saw enough of the fight to see that. Unfortunate. And we move on to Lupita Godinez versus Jessica Andrade. This was a really good pick of mine. I picked Lupita Godinez money line and bet on that. She's like only a minus 150, and she kind of closed at like a minus 140, I think, something like that. Effortless. She looked incredible on the feet against Jessica Andrade. I don't know what the fuck commentary was talking about in the entire fight. Lupita Godinez was outstriking Jessica Andrade. Like, it was not close. She was landing the much better shots on the feet. On the back foot, I will say. That's a striking style, Joe Rogan. Just because you're getting back down on the feet doesn't mean you're losing or getting dominated. Joe Rogan, DC, John Anik, the entire fight, they're talking about, oh, Jessica Andrade, she looks really good on the feet, man. Oh, Lupita's got to start taking her down. Lupita's going to have to start wrestling Jessica Andrade, man. Oh, Jessica Andrade, she hits like a truck, man. Oh, one of her hook, you really can see Lupita Godinez doesn't want to be boxing with Jessica Andrade. What are we talking about? Lupita's up 30-27. She's winning this fight effortlessly. It was not close. It was not close. It was not close. And you got John Anik, DC, and Joe Rogan all just spewing vicious propaganda for Jessica Andrade, like she's winning the fight. She's down 2 rounds, guys, right now. She's down 2 rounds. She needs a finish. Why are you talking about her boxing? It's not working. Anyways, that had me fuming last night. I don't know what I don't know what the commentators were talking about. It's not just Joe Rogan. It's all 3 of them. All of them were saying just the most bizarre shit about Jessica Andrade. She's losing the fight, guys. She's down 2 rounds. What are we talking about? Anyways, Lupita Godinez cashes my bet. Let's go. Effortless. Good payout on it. And we move on to Mikhailo Lejekchik versus Gerald Meerschaert. Gerald Meerschaert knocked out in the first round. Herb Dean wanted this dude to be unconscious for sure. Mikhail knocks him down, and he's landing some good ground and pound shots. Bop, 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 bop. They're hitting the head of Gerald Meerschaert. Bop, 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 bop. All right, you can stop it, Herb. Bop, 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 bop. Oh, Herb, what are you doing, buddy? Where are you going? You're just watching this. And then bop, 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 bop. And then he finally stops. It's like, what are you looking for, Herb? He probably took an additional 10 ground and pound hammer fists that he didn't need to. And I'm not saying, like, they're not, like, completely devastated. They don't feel good, though. His head's getting dribbled off the canvas. And Herb Dean's just watching it, just hands up. Like 10 of them in a row. It's like, what are you watching? He's done. He's done. He's not defending. He's okay. You can stop the fight. He's not okay, sorry. He's not okay. Stop the fight. But anyways, Herb Dean kind of gives Gerald Meerschaert a bit more brain damage than he needs. And Michal gets a second win as a fighting nerd. People forget, man, this dude's legit now. He's on a run. This dude's going for the title shot now that he's training with them Brazilians. We're moving on. Baisinger Sursurkayev versus Eric Nolan. Sursurkayev was he came out in that first round a little wonky. I think the weight of the moment kind of got to him, and he was playing around with Eric Nolan a little bit. He was doing like the Nate Diaz or the Bobby Green, where he's like waving his hands out like this. It's like, all right, you're getting outstruck. You are getting outstruck. But then round 2, he kind of flips a switch. The end of round 1, Eric Nolan wobbles him a bit, it looked like. I don't know if the Sursurkayev was smiling through it, which I don't know if he was actually wobbled or not, because he was smiling through it. But round 2 comes along, and Sursurkayev flips a switch, laying some nice leg kicks right to the knee of Eric Nolan. The first one, you could see an immediate reaction from Eric Nolan, where he like kind of brings his leg up and is like, he grabs at his leg. And then 20 seconds go by, Sursurkayev throws another one that lands right in the same place on the knee. And Nolan immediately reaches down, he like groans out in pain. And then Sursurkayev, how did he get him down? I'm blanking on it. He got him down and submitted him, though. Yeah. I'm misremembering something in my head, but there was the really good leg kick that had Eric Nolan reaching down to his feet. Did Eric Nolan shoot on Sursurkayev? It might have been that, and then Sursurkayev laced up like a choke that way. I misremember some about this one, man. But Sursurkayev got it done in that second round, and looked pretty good too. Like the first round, fought through a bit of adversity, but that's to be expected. It's a 4-day notice fight. Eric Nolan was told that he's going to be getting another shot as well by Dana White right after the fight. It's exciting to see a guy this young, this early on in his career, and have a turnaround like this. It is really cool to see something like that. So I'm excited to see where Sursurkayev goes from here. I really am. And we move on to Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura on the main card. Kai Asakura was doing pretty good on the feet. He was doing pretty good. Like some of the shots he was landing on the feet, I really did think he was gonna knock out Tim Elliott. Until he threw a head kick in the first round. It did land on Tim Elliott, but Tim Elliott also took down Kai Asakura because of that head kick that he threw, and ended the first round on top of Kai Asakura. And then round 2 comes along. Tim Elliott's kind of playing around with him, doing all this like Dominic Cruz shit on the feet. Backing up. Kai Asakura rushes in too much and gets blast double leg to the mat, where Tim Elliott gets back mount on Kai Asakura with like 2.5 minutes left in the round, and he ends up submitting Kai Asakura with a rear naked choke from back mount. Kai Asakura is now 0-2 in the UFC, both by submission. And it's not just to Pantoja now. It's also to Tim Elliott. Kai Asakura might just be terrible in MMA. It's unfortunate because he was doing really good in Ryzen, man. He looked really good. He had this incredible highlight reel. But listen, Japanese jiu-jitsu barely even trains ground game, guys. And that's the jiu-jitsu that he learns over there. That stuff, that's not the same as Brazilian jiu-jitsu. There's a very big difference. If you don't know, look it up. Brazilian jiu-jitsu is more of a ground style, and Japanese is kind of more on the feet, kind of more defensive, striking style type thing. It's a lot different than Japanese or than Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I did Japanese when I was younger. Is way different than Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And I guess at a certain point in your career, it's just hard to adapt to a different style. And it's, who knows, maybe he ends up winning his next fight and goes on a run. But at this point, we haven't seen much upside for Kai Asakura apart from a crafty, dynamic 1-2 and a head kick. He's pretty quick on the feet, I can't lie. Like, he looked pretty quick on the feet. He was landing some nice power shots on Tim Elliott. So it's hard to say where he goes from here. But, like, I'm rooting for Kai Asakura, man. I really wanted him to do good. I was surprised Tim Elliott got this, man. Like, this is a crafty vet win for him. But, my God, man. My God. Moving on. Michael Venom Page versus Jared Cannonier. Michael Venom Page looked incredible. Incredible. Just a elite performance by MVP. Doing his thing that he does best. He makes all of these strikers on the feet look like chumps. I was saying it before. Michael Venom Page was going to be dancing around the ring. I even predicted the knockdown and the dance, man. I'm like, well, if MVP hurts him and drops him, he's not going to jump on him and finish him. He's going to be doing some emotes. You know, he's going to be savoring the moment. He'll knock him down and he'll point at him. He'll do the Nate Diaz. So that's exactly what happened. He knocked him down and he starts dancing across the ring. He did it twice in the fight, man. And then third round comes along and Jared Cannonier finally starts grappling. Oh, thank you, Jared. Thank you for implementing a game plan and trying to win a fight. If you did that in the second round, you would have won the fight, Jared. If you just got another takedown off, buddy. That sucks to see. He should have won that fight if he was smart. But MVP was able to, I don't know, keep it on the feet for the first 2 rounds somehow and made Jared Cannonier look like a little chump. That's what he does to the feet to anyone. That's what he does on the feet to anyone. Ian Gary, he had him becoming a grappler. So, great win for MVP. He said after the fight that he's going to move down. Let me not spoil the next one. Carlos Prates knocked out Jeff Neal in the first round with a spinning back elbow. Jeff Neal probably still not awake at this point. Carlos Prates, effortless win, immediately goes backstage and gets told that he is promised a slot on the UFC Rio card in October. And MVP said that he will cut down in weight back to 170 to fight Carlos Prates in that Rio de Janeiro card. If that happens, man, I could see MVP beating Carlos Prates. I don't think that's a crazy take. Carlos Prates was getting outstruck 2-1 by Trevin Giles before he found that knockout blow. But that's also a possibility, you know? Carlos Prates knocking out MVP later in the fight. That would be an incredible fight, man. But I honestly think it would go pretty similar to MVP versus Shara Bullet. Maybe. I think Carlos has better striking and like better pressure than Shara, but I think MVP would still figure out Carlos Prates. But there's obviously a chance Carlos Prates viciously knocks out Michael Venom Page. That's always a chance. But man, please make that fight happen. I want to see that fight. Please. Moving on to the co-main event, Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. People forget, man, Aaron Pico was winning this fight. People forget, Aaron Pico was a live minus 400 favorite. And then he ate a back elbow as well. 2 back-to-back spinning back elbow knockouts on the main card last night. This is a fever dream, man. This is a fever dream. Lerone Murphy was getting pieced up and out-wrestled and just held against the fence a little bit. And then Aaron Pico kind of changes levels, looks to be maybe shooting a takedown. And then Lerone Murphy, oh my God. I'm not taking anything away from this win for Lerone Murphy. It was an incredible spinning back elbow. But Aaron Pico was winning this fight. He was up. It wasn't even the end of the first round. But Pico looked good, man. Pico looked good. until Lerone Murphy decided to shut his lights off with a spinning back elbow. I didn't see that one happening, to be honest. I should have, I guess. Lerone Murphy's the undefeated one out of the two. Pico's been knocked out a few times, but fuck. Pico will be back. He's only 28 years old. Lerone Murphy's going to get a title shot now in December against Volk. And Volk's going to beat Lerone Murphy. Volk's going to beat Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy is a boring decision point fighter that somehow stumbled his way into a spinning back elbow highlight reel knockout last night. It's an outlier. It's an outlier in the equation, guys. It's an outlier. He's not doing that to Volk. He's not doing that to Volk. Anyways, moving on to the main event. DDP by winning the rematch is my official pick. Yeah, DDP, I thought he was going to get this one done. I did. The entire week, I really did think it was going to go into late rounds and something was going to change and DDP was going to, like, it was going to be like a Merab Umar type thing where round 3 comes along and DDP starts winning the fight. But no, Khamzat Chimaev was working with a new cardio coach and that paid dividends. This dude came out and was able to rinse and repeat a takedown and top control for 25 minutes and won the fight because of it. Dricus had no answer to get up from the bottom. He was in crucifix in like 3 of the 5 rounds at least, maybe even 4, maybe even 5 of the 5 rounds. It's an unfortunate win, unfortunate loss for DDP. I really did think he had a chance in the later rounds, but the 5th round, he did actually get on top of Chimaev, and he made maybe the most brain-dead move I've ever seen. Why are you pulling a guillotine and giving up... Why are you putting yourself back on the bottom? You just got on top of Chimaev with like 30 seconds left. Or I think at that point, there might have been 2 minutes left in the 5th round. And DDP lands on top of Chimaev and pulls a guillotine and puts himself back on the bottom. Just throw strikes down. If you're on top of him, why are you pulling a submission on a dude that just controlled you for 24 minutes? You're not getting it. But pretty unfortunate, pretty sad. I really did think DDP had a chance later on, and he made a big blunder at the end of that fight when he got on top of Chimaev. I feel like he could have got a finish if he really threw everything at Chimaev in that moment. Hammer fist, elbow, be smart with your strikes. Don't pull a guillotine and give up the bottom that you just worked and got top control on Chimaev. Why are you putting yourself back on the bottom? You've been on the bottom the whole fight. It seemed like I don't know. I put my head in my hands and I couldn't even watch the screen at that point. And then the last 30 seconds, Chimaev gives up his back. DDP gets the back of Chimaev. And, I mean, he was just doing nothing with 10 seconds left. He wasn't even throwing. He heard the clanker go. Clanker. And he doesn't throw a single strike at Chimaev. It was sad. I really thought he was going to do better. We'll see. Maybe he ends up getting a rematch. I think he has to win another fight before he gets a rematch with Chimaev. He has to go beat RDR, which is a very winnable fight for DDP. I will say he can beat RDR for sure. And get back to a title shot, and maybe in the rematch he can do something better. I know it's not going to be Strickland beating Chimaev. Who's going to beat Chimaev though, man? Fuck. This is the state of the UFC now, where we have to look forward to these champions that are going to fight once a year and have shitty performances just by control time on someone. When they can't find a sub, it just turns into 25-minute control time fest that we're supposed to be, oh, thank you, Chimaev. Oh, thank you for your excellent takedowns and control time. Thank you for your excellent performance. We're supposed to be applauding this dude for something like that? You couldn't find a submission on someone after 25 minutes of control time? Go fuck yourself. Get out of here, man. We don't want you. We don't want you anymore. Fighting every 1.5 years. DDP was our champion. This one's gonna take a lot of time for me to recover from. I can't lie. Anyways, that's the recap. I'm done. We'll be doing the picks soon for Johnny Walker versus Zhang Ming Yang. I wonder what's gonna happen there. But yeah, I'll be on sparring sessions today doing my picks and breakdown with Dax for that card, and I'll also be doing my picks on this channel probably today as well. So we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe.